So while Wingnut switches into this game, here we go.
Oh, sorry. Alt-Tab is failing me here. All right, but we are ready to go into game number 3. In the upper right-hand corner, it is the Teal Zerg representing MicroGamerZ. His name is Snakehips.
And in the bottom left-hand corner, representing No Dice Gaming and the purple Protoss robots, it is Valor.
So MicroGamerZ, so now we have a score of 1-1. So an even match. This is the first time that we have been in this situation all day, as this is the second match we have cast.
Yep.
Fairly big map here, different than our last couple maps, which were a little bit on the smaller side, so definitely opens up to some different kind of play. I feel like, again, though, this is one of those one of those maps where it's incredibly hard for Protoss to take a third base.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you there, and, that leads to, I feel like there's a lot of maps that are that way, and it leads to a lot of 2-base Protoss all-ins, which, obviously doesn't happen every game, but I feel like if you're a Zerg player and you kind of can see that in the map, then you've got to prepare for that somewhat. You've got to go through your scouting, anticipating that you may very well see some 2-base play, and when you see kind of the signs of leading into that, then you kind of are able to move your own build into the order to defend against that.
Well, and also, this if you're not familiar, this is Pro League format. The rosters are submitted independently ahead of time, so you also can't judge what race you're going up against. So when a team submits a roster, they're submitting their roster without knowing what the other team has submitted. So they could pick this map without knowing exactly what the matchup is going to be, which makes it a little bit more difficult. So you more just kind of pick the matchups based on the map and what race you are and how comfortable you feel with it. So you have to assume that each of these players picked this for a reason, that they're definitely comfortable and feel good playing on it. So,
yep. Or Valor just got to the roster a little bit late, and that was the only one left. So groans as he puts his name in there. But who knows? We don't.
One gas here so far to Valor. A Cybernetics core is coming down. So this is like what we were talking about earlier with Grubby, asking the question of how he felt about the sort of Forge Fast Expand or Nexus First versus the Gateway Expand, and his response was pretty interesting in that he felt that the Gateway First was stronger for a 3-base play. So as we're talking about how hard it is for Protoss to get a third base, Valor and Snakehips both here, Grandmaster players, very smart, intelligent. So you have to think that maybe 3-base is on his radar, but if he's going to do that, how would he defend it? It is a bit difficult on this map as it is wide open here on the right and the left. So we will just have to see.
Yep, and that Overlord is seeing that it is Nexus First, so he's got to have an idea
it's not Nexus First.
Oh, sorry. That it is not Nexus First, and is going to have an idea of kind of how to prepare for that.
Yep, and there is a couple Zerglings here running around just checking some of the proxy locations, make sure there's nothing crazy or silly going on here. Also, I see in chat someone has posted twitter.com/snakehips_SC2 and twitter.com/SC2Valor. So go out and follow these two players. The goal of SC2CTL is to bring light on maybe lesser known players that haven't broken their way out completely onto the scene yet, and we've seen that happen quite a lot actually. So.
Yep, we have. So a bit of an early gas here for Snakehips compared to what we have been seeing. Looks like he has not gotten his speed yet for those Zerglings, so he's banking that gas here, and looks like he's just breaking the 100 point now, so could be seeing speed here in a moment, but is still spending those minerals. Meanwhile, the third base is being scouted.
All right, Delegation, here comes that time where we see a Stargate in a PVZ,
yep,
and we make guesses.
All right. I'm going to go with Oracle because I feel like that's what we always see.
I'm going to go ahead and go with Phoenix because that's what I want to see.
All right. Well, that sounds like a great idea. I will be happy when I'm right, and you will once again lament your...
Although, I don't know. I kind of think that I'm going to side with you on Oracle just because he's only got 2 gas here and put gas at the expansion. So whatever he makes isn't going to be super sustained unless he plans on making only Zealots. So we'll see. I'll go ahead and stick with Phoenix, but we'll see. He does have a Sentry blocking his wall here. 2 gateways that are not too active at the moment. Hey, 2 for 2. All right,
you win.
I'm mind gaming. See, what I'm doing is I'm figuring what I think it will be and then going with the other.
The opposite. Got it. Okay.
So I'm mind gaming myself.
Mind gaming yourself. You're playing as a true Protoss master here.
Yep. Yeah, indeed. So we do have 3 bases down from Zerg. It is pretty standard here. Although we don't really see too much pressure in the way of anything from Valor. With that third base going down, a lot of times we'll see Protoss, getting a little bit of pressure on to get that down. I feel like that gateway first was pretty much only for the timing on that Stargate. Oh, there is a pylon going down as I'm saying that.
Yeah, so he looks like he's gearing up for it, but in the meantime, there is a ground carapace level 1 going down, a Roach Warren finishing up, and lots of Zerglings in production. It looks like he is ready for this and does scout it out. So that pylon is going to be canceled. The probe has moved into the very recesses of the top left-hand corner of the map, putting down another one.
Spidey sense of snake hips here is insane.
Oh, yeah.
Moving right on back and seeing both pylons going down. Can you imagine being in that position and be like, yes, I just predicted you to the maximum. Now I'm thwarting everything you're thinking. 3 Phoenix on the field, a 4th on the way. So likely I would postulate we're going to see 4 to 5 Phoenix going into the Robo play, into Colossus eventually. The classic bait your opponent into Hydralisk and then roast them with Colossus.
Yep, he's going to have to be careful with his Queen where it's positioned right now. That Overlord is going to get knocked out, and the Queen does get lifted up.
The Phoenix right in the way.
Yep, and there are some shots going down on the lifting Phoenix, but not before he gets that Queen killed.
Ooh, very close.
Yep, and wow, just taking out these Roaches that are idling here that weren't very well rallied, so getting some decent kills here with these Phoenix.
Yeah, and the Robo is now coming down, so it is going to be as we expect. This is a very cool play, probably one of my favorites. It's funny because we were talking to Grubby about this, and I was saying that this is something that we don't see all that often that I really miss seeing. Now that we've seen a lot more of the, sort of Immortal, All-In, Immortal Sentry, or some early Zealot play. But, it looks like what we sort of also were talking about, this is going to be our best prediction game ever, as it looks like Valor is moving out to sort of secure a third base here as a bunch of Zerglings are headed in.
Yeah, and he's going to want to put the pressure on now that his carapace has wrapped up, although he's not really got his army together here. The Lings are mostly getting cleaned up here. Force Field's protecting that sentry. Now the Roach is finally showing up, but not a whole lot left to clean up. Does get that sentry pick off, and they're going to get a few of these Zealots, but the Phoenix are here, and they're going to be able to lift them up here.
Now a Void Ray incoming out of that Stargate, +1 armor on the way as well. Phoenix lifting up the Roaches, just completely nullifying half the army. Those Phoenix are so... This is why I love Phoenix and PvZ, man. If you've got 5 Phoenix, you can clutch Force of Roaches like that comes along. You can defeat it with a very much smaller army because you can just take half the army out of the game.
2 Zealots are trying to chase down this very low HP Roach, and it is going to march its way back home. Going to be meeting up with the Queen here, so the Zealots decide to walk on home. But in the meantime, there are a lot of Phoenix here moving back in for the strike on the third base.
Robotics Bay is on the way here, so Colossus will be forthcoming. It looks like we've only seen 1 Robo so far as I'm trying to find it. Where is that Robo? There it is. Chrono boosting the idle Robo, no big deal. Going to be going for Colossus here. Eventually, third base is going down, so definitely give credit to Grubby for that one. He predicted that well, even while he's not in the game. So good job here. As there's a Queen sneaking out under these Phoenix. The Phoenix have not sensed it as they're running away. Oh wow, look at that Queen. It is totally exposed there.
Yeah, really.
Come back, Phoenix.
A very ballsy Queen there. We did have an Infestation Pit wrap up. We have not yet seen Hive going down, but upgrades are going down for Melee as that +2 is going down for Carapace as well. And Roaches just continue to try and batter their way in here, aided by the Zerglings. Snakehips really just trying to keep a lot of pressure on, but those Phoenix are just being a real pain in the butt. It seems like he refuses. He knows what the bait is. He knows that he's being baited into Hydralisk and just adamantly refuses.
So
no,
I was just looking around,
I will not.
I was just looking around here. I'm like, I don't think he has Hydralisk den yet, so he's not taking the bait at all.
No, he does not want to go that route. Now getting Pathogen Glands, so he's going to be getting some Infestors here.
I'm not sure I necessarily like the Infestor idea per se, unless he ends up going for Neural Parasite, but that, wouldn't that be just insane? When's the last time you saw a Neural Parasited Colossus?
Oh my. The last time I did it in a cheesy game. Like a 8-player, everybody free-for-all type thing.
That's almost guaranteed not to happen.
Right.
It's fun to think of things like that, but honestly, I think the best thing he could be doing here is going for, wow, is this going to be 7 Infestors? The best thing he could be doing here is going for some Vipers at some point if he wants to stay on these Roaches. But man, this is going to be, if he lets too many Colossus get out, this is going to be a rough defense with just Roaches and Zerglings even still. But I mean, he's still been scouting around with these Phoenix, so he knows what's going on. He knows that he hasn't seen any Hydralisks on the map, so he's got to be ultra careful. But also at the same time, he's making Void Rays.
And those Void Ray numbers get very scary very quickly. So,
Phoenix! Ah!
oh no. And there's that fungal getting most of the Phoenix. Does lift up one of the infestors, but none of its friends remain to do any damage to it.
Yeah, that reminds me of the old StarCraft episode where the Phoenix pilot lifts up the drone, and then it's just like,
guys?
Eh? But Valor is moving his way across the map slowly here, but while Snakehips has been taking all the expansions, man. Look, he's got 4 expansions on the backside, 3 for Valor, but now there's going to be a bit... Oh, wow, just sacking some Zerglings up here to these Colossus. Those were free food, essentially. Valor was not ready to be at 200 yet. He's not even have 200 supply worth of Overlords yet, so that may have not been the best idea, but a sacrificial Spore Crawler coming out to scout for the team guys. There's an army out front.
Yeah. And it is coming this way. Spore Crawler taking some shots. But now the whole army is moving in. The Infestors going forward. Do get a few fungals there. But now just kind of walking into the army and just getting obliterated. The Queens are there trying to do what they can, but the Roaches are getting cleaned up with nothing really here to hit in the air. The Colossus doing the work. Queens trying to do what they can to take out those Void Rays. And the last ones do look like they're going to finish. But the Stalker count is so high, this army is being chased back.
Yeah, very interesting compositions coming to this. I mean, the Void Rays kind of just took out the Roaches, the Colossus kind of dealt with the Zerglings, and then the Stalkers were a bit of the afterthought, warped in later to end up cleaning up the Queens. So, I mean, there's just so many Stalkers here. The Colossus is able to micro itself back against these Queens. The Queens largely just going up against the Stalkers and taking out a good number of them here. Yeah,
that Colossus is trying to be hit, but the drones now coming out into the fray as well, circling these Stalkers, trying to get some kills off, but that Colossus remains alive and is doing huge damage, under over 20 kills now.
Look at the roasted corpses of the drones there.
Yeah, that was a lot of workers lost. 22 have been killed now by Valor.
But now, with that army out of the way, Valor is totally in... I'm sorry, Snakehips is totally in a great position. I mean, there are more warp-ins here, but he's going to be able to handle this. He's got more Roaches coming in. He's got all the Infestors. He's got all the Queens. Honestly, this is something that Scarlet's been doing so much. All this huge number of Queens to be used to defend pushes like this, largely. And now even going for, oh my gosh, the Adrenal Gland upgrade that we never see. So I mean, late game Zerglings, that's also something we haven't seen very often.
Yeah, but I mean, I really do like late game Zerglings. They're pretty powerful. You got a lot of speed potential, and it can do some run bys. Although it looks like Valor's fairly well defended with these cannon placements. Not going to get a whole lot of damage done.
Looking at this third base here, there's 2 cannons. Zerglings coming in here would absolutely ravage this base.
In the back, yeah. He's just got to micro them. He's got to make sure that they're not...
So now Valor's going to move in here, and I just don't think he's going to get a lot done. Nice fungals go down on the entire army. The Zealots are completely nullified with those fungals, so great job there. And the Colossus still in the back, working away. That's a new Colossus. Never mind. Hero Colossus is dead.
That's right, but moving forward, now not great positioning here for Snakehips. This is really not a great engagement there on that ramp, so pulling back, but the Queens are off creep somewhat, taking some shots. He's going to have to get those into the back if he wants to try and defend those, so both armies kind of backing off and regrouping.
50 Zerglings in production, as well as an Ultralisk Cavern, as well as Adrenal Glands is about to finish up, as well as +3/+3. This is the Zerg army of yesteryear, Gallication.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you want to do when you've got that ground army upgrade like he's been getting this whole game, and kind of taking his time getting to the Ultralisk, but I think it's a good play. But now he's got these Stalkers and Colossus moving in, and Valor really has been light on the Colossus count, only 2 now, and really there's nothing in production for him right now, so he's really focusing on this attack. But man, great force fields there, keeping the majority of the army out, letting a little bit of trickle through for the Colossus to roast, and this base is almost certainly... Oh my goodness, great pulls there.
Yeah, honestly, the worst thing there was going to be the force fields with the sentries here dwindling in energy, and those Zerglings so good against these ground units of Valor, given that he has only +1/+1, while Snakehips has +2/+2 and Adrenal Glands, and Galligation GG.
GG indeed. Valor really was not able to get off that third base. Snakehips was all over that fourth. He had the creep down. He had lings down there very frequently. There was a small group of lings, maybe 8 to 10, almost the entire game, just always there trying to prevent things from happening. So Valor really had to make something happen off of 3 bases. Wasn't really able to, and Snakehip's able to pull that out.
Yeah, so Cowman winning the first match here for no dice, and then MicroGamerZ coming back with 2 in a row. So that's going to put our score to 2-1. So we are going to go ahead here, I believe, and we're going to take a brief 30-second break for a quick advertisement, and then we're going to come back and we will have either another match or we'll have some information to talk about these teams.
That's right.
Sound good? All right, so thanks for hanging out with us. This is the StarCraft 2 Community Team League Grand Final event. We are in semifinal number 2 of the day. The winner of this will move on to the Grand Final. The loser will move on to the third place match to feature Integrity Gaming. And we're going to go on to our quick break here while the next match is set up, and we will be right back. All right, and we are back. Gallegation, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. You know what I want to do right now? I think I want to give out a code.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So, if you are unaware, we are doing giveaways. There is a mechanical keyboard up for grabs at the end of the day today. You can get your hands on it, or at least an attempt to get your hands on it right now if you go to SC2CTL.com/.